Outgrowing people doesn't mean you're cold, it means you're growing. It's a profound statement, one that often carries a weight of guilt or confusion. But I want you to sit with it for a moment. Feel the truth in those words. Growth is the very essence of life, a constant, beautiful, and sometimes challenging process of becoming. Think of a seed. For it to become a mighty tree, it must break out of its shell, push through the soil, and reach for the light. It doesn't despise the shell that once protected it. It simply outgrows its purpose. This is the journey we are all on, a journey of personal evolution, and it's okay. In fact, it's necessary. This evolution isn't about looking down on who you were or the people who walked beside you. It's about honoring the path you've traveled while having the courage to forge a new one. You don't suddenly hate them. The love, the memories, the shared laughter, those are real, and they remain part of your story, woven into the fabric of who you are today. What has changed is you. Your frequency has shifted. Your inner landscape has been re-terraformed by new experiences, new insights, and new aspirations. It's a quiet, internal revolution, and it's a sign that you are listening to the deepest call of your soul, the call to expand and become more. Let's release the narrative that tells us we must remain the same person forever, to be considered loyal or good. True loyalty is first and foremost to your own growth, to your own potential. When you honor that, you are better equipped to show up authentically and lovingly in all your relationships, past, present, and future. This process isn't about cutting people off with anger or resentment. It's about a gentle, conscious uncoupling, a recognition that your paths are diverging. It's an act of love for both yourself and for them, allowing each of you the space to find the connections that resonate with who you are becoming right now. So, as we explore these signs together, I invite you to approach this with compassion, not judgment. Be kind to yourself for the changes you're experiencing. Be kind to those who may not understand your journey. This isn't about finding fault or placing blame. This is about gaining clarity. It's about understanding the natural seasons of relationships and learning to navigate them with grace, intention, and a deep, unwavering belief in your own beautiful, ongoing transformation. You are not just allowed to grow, you are designed to. Let's embrace that truth together. The first sign of outgrowing old connections is subtle, a shift in energy after a conversation that once left you buzzing, but now leaves you feeling quietly depleted. The topics circle the same ground: complaints, gossip, rehashing the past. Your mind wanders, searching for an exit, not because your friends are boring, but because you've changed. You've been exploring new ideas, reading new books, and your interests have shifted toward purpose, vulnerability, and growth. The old conversational currency just isn't valuable anymore. It's like trying to buy a feast with coins from a forgotten kingdom. This draining feeling is your emotional compass signaling a misalignment. What once filled your cup now creates a leak. You're pouring your presence into a dynamic that no longer nourishes you. Recognizing this isn't judgment. It's self-awareness. The exhaustion is more than physical. It's soul-level fatigue from pretending to be engaged when you're not. It's the universe gently tapping you on the shoulder, whispering, "Notice this." your soul is craving a different kind of nourishment. Think of a favorite song you played on repeat. At first, every note thrilled you. But after the 100th listen, the magic fades. It becomes background noise. That's what happens when you outgrow conversations. You can predict the flow before it begins. The same complaints, the same stories, the same perspectives. What once felt safe now feels stifling, like being in a room with windows painted shut. Your mind, hungry for novelty, checks out. You zone out, thinking about a podcast or a project, only to be pulled back by a question you barely registered. This mental departure is your consciousness seeking stimulation the current environment can't provide. It's a performance, and like any long-running show, it becomes exhausting. You leave feeling like you just finished a tiring shift. This isn't about blaming your friends. Their path is their own. It's about recognizing your path is leading you elsewhere. The feeling of being drained is the friction between your desire to spiral upward and the gravitational pull of the familiar loop. Maybe you once enjoyed dissecting office politics or celebrity gossip, but now you find it trivial. You value positivity and conversations that uplift. Your focus has shifted from complaining to brainstorming solutions, from talking about people to talking about ideas and growth. The old conversations feel draining because they conflict with your new values. Every moment spent in them feels like a step backward. Think of it like changing your diet. Junk food loses its appeal when you start eating healthy. The same is true for your mind and spirit. The junk food conversations, gossip, negativity, complaining, no longer satisfy you. They leave you feeling mentally and spiritually malnourished. Their conversational diet works for them, but it no longer works for you. The draining feeling is your system's way of rejecting what no longer nourishes it. A powerful component of friendship is shared curiosity. But when you outgrow people, that curiosity fades. Your interests have expanded, but your old friends have no desire to explore. You might be excited about meditation or a new venture, but you're met with blank stares or a quick change of subject. The bridge of shared curiosity has crumbled, leaving you on opposite banks. The energy drain comes from trying to build a bridge all by yourself. A healthy conversation is a dance of give and take. When you're the only one contributing, it becomes a solo performance for an indifferent audience. This is depleting, but it's no one's fault. People's curiosities evolve at different rates. The exhaustion is the sound of your own growth. It's a loving reminder to seek out fellow explorers who are curious about the same new worlds you are. Sometimes, the drain comes from an imbalanced dynamic. You may have become the perpetual therapist, always listening, rarely heard. As you've grown, you've realized the importance of reciprocity. Your energy isn't infinite. You need to be seen and supported too. The constant outpouring without replenishment leaves you depleted. The conversation is draining because you're giving far more than you receive. You're investing your energy into a situation that isn't changing. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. Your growth has taught you the value of healthy boundaries. The draining feeling is a signal to reclaim your energy and seek relationships where support flows both ways. When you're on a path of growth, you're raising your frequency. Old conversations often vibrate at a lower frequency: complaint, blame, limitation. Immersing yourself in that field creates a jarring dissonance. Your energy field has to fight to maintain its higher frequency. You may leave feeling irritable or heavy. That's the residue of the lower frequency clinging to you. The draining feeling is a clear sign you're no longer in resonance with that person or style. It's your body and spirit's way of saying, it's time to seek out frequencies that feel like home. This experience is a natural part of personal growth. It's not a failure of the friendship, but a sign of your own success in evolving. Think of relationships like seasons. Some are meant for a lifetime, others for a season. Allow yourself to feel gratitude for what was. Let go of guilt. The feeling of being drained is not a betrayal, it's information. You are not wrong for growing or wanting more. Embrace this change as a positive indicator. The discomfort is simply growing pains, a sign you're breaking free from an old shell and preparing for a new, more expansive way of being. See the fatigue not as an ending, but as confirmation you're on the right path, the path of becoming more fully and authentically yourself. The second sign often follows the first. Once you realize that your old conversations are draining, a subtle, almost unconscious, protective mechanism kicks in. You start hiding parts of yourself. It begins with the small things. You don't mention the insightful book on philosophy you're reading because you anticipate a joke about it being too deep. You don't talk about the new meditation practice that's bringing you peace because you fear it will be dismissed as weird or new agey. You start to curate a version of yourself that is more palatable, more familiar, and less challenging to them. This isn't a malicious or deceptive act. It comes from a place of wanting to preserve the connection, to avoid friction or judgment. You value the history you share, and a part of you still craves the easy comfort of belonging. So, you put on a mask. The mask of the person you used to be, the one they are comfortable with. You perform a role in the play of your friendship, speaking the old lines and sticking to the familiar script. You edit your own stories, downplaying your growth and highlighting the parts of you that have remained the same. The problem is, this mask is heavy. It takes an immense amount of energy to hold it in place. You are constantly monitoring yourself, filtering your thoughts, and suppressing your authentic enthusiasm. This internal censorship creates a profound sense of inner conflict. The vibrant, evolving person you are becoming is being forced into a closet, while a watered-down representative is sent out to interact with the world. This act of self-suppression is a quiet form of self-betrayal, and it slowly erodes your sense of integrity and wholeness. Over time, you begin to feel like. Have you ever been surrounded by people, friends, family, familiar faces, yet felt a deep sense of loneliness? It's a strange paradox. To be present, but to feel an invisible wall separating you from everyone else. This isn't the loneliness of being alone in an empty house. It's a deeper, more poignant feeling that whispers to you, even in the middle of a crowded party. You might laugh along with a joke or nod in agreement with a story. But beneath the surface, there's a quiet disconnect, a sense that you're just an observer in your own life. This isn't about anyone's lack of care or your lack of effort. It's a sign of an internal shift, a change in your essence that no longer resonates with the old, familiar tune of the group. Imagine it like a radio dial. For years, you and your circle were tuned to the same station, enjoying the same rhythm of life. But as you've grown, you've started to turn your internal dial, seeking a new frequency with more depth and meaning. Now, when you're with them, their station sounds like static to your soul. The music no longer moves you. The conversations don't inspire you. This dissonance creates a feeling of isolation, the loneliness of being tuned to a different wavelength while standing in the same room. This feeling isn't a failure. Instead, see it as a compass, pointing you toward a new direction and highlighting a misalignment between your inner world and your outer circumstances. The comfort of familiarity is no longer enough. Your soul is craving a connection that sees you, hears you, and resonates with who you are today, not just who you used to be. This loneliness is often loudest in the silences between words, in laughter that doesn't quite reach your heart, or in stories about the past that remind you how much you've changed. You find yourself playing the part you've always played, but inside, your true thoughts and feelings bounce around, unheard and unacknowledged. This emptiness is a direct result of a values-based disconnect. What you prioritize, what sparks your curiosity and passion, has fundamentally shifted. Maybe you now value deep, vulnerable conversations over surface-level gossip. Or perhaps your focus has turned toward purpose and contribution, while the conversations around you remain centered on complaints or material pursuits. When your core values are no longer mirrored in your interactions, you are left feeling unseen and misunderstood, a profound sense of being alone in a crowd. You walk away not feeling energized, but depleted, as if you've spent the entire time wearing a heavy costume. This is because you are expending immense energy maintaining a facade, bridging the gap between your authentic self and the person they expect you to be. This emotional labor is exhausting. The one person who needs your energy the most, your evolving self, is being neglected. This emptiness is a call to action. It's your intuition telling you that you are starving for a kind of connection these relationships can no longer provide. Just as your body needs specific nutrients to thrive, your soul needs connections that nourish its growth. As your priorities evolve, the common ground you once stood on begins to shrink, and you find yourself looking toward a new horizon. This divergence isn't sudden. It's a gradual drift. It starts with small choices, choosing a quiet night in over a loud night out, or investing your time in new interests. When you're with your old friends, you become acutely aware of how far you've walked. The topics and activities belong to a path you are no longer on. Growth is not a competition. Their path is valid for them, just as yours is valid for you. The loneliness arises from the simple reality of divergence. You can still cherish the memories of the road you travelled together, but you can't escape the feeling of solitude that comes from walking your unique journey alone for a while. Embracing this shift requires courage and self-compassion. It means honouring your new priorities, even when they're not understood by those around you. This feeling is not a punishment. It is a sacred space of transition, a quiet moment before you meet people who are walking in the same direction as you. At the heart of this disconnect is a change in your core values. When you were younger, your values might have been more aligned with your social circle, but as you've grown, you've likely discovered deeper values: authenticity, integrity, kindness, purpose, and personal growth. When you find yourself in conversations that violate these core values, it can feel jarring, like hearing a beautiful symphony interrupted by a discordant noise. Think of your values as your unique energetic signature. When you are with people who share a similar signature, the energy flows effortlessly. But when you are with people whose energetic signature is vastly different, the connection can feel weak and strained. The loneliness you experience is a sign of your own integrity. It shows you are no longer willing to compromise on what is most important to you for the sake of fitting in. The solitude is temporary, a byproduct of your commitment to living a life in true alignment with who you are. One of the most painful aspects is when this happens with people you have a long and cherished history with. The bond is built on shared memories, and the thought of that bond weakening can be terrifying. Sometimes, history is simply not enough to bridge a growing gap in the present. The conversations become a highlight reel of the past, a constant replay of who you used to be together. This creates a unique kind of loneliness, the feeling of being loved for a version of you that no longer exists, while the current you remains invisible. The memories you share are real and precious, but a thriving connection cannot survive on memories alone. It needs to be nurtured in the present moment. The loneliness you feel is a sign that the relationship is running on empty and that you need a connection that is alive and growing in the here and now. Letting go of the idea that shared history is an unbreakable bond is a difficult but necessary part of growth. The loneliness is the space where you grieve the past while making room for a future that aligns with who you are becoming. Pay attention to the subtle cues your body sends you before, during, and after you spend time with these people. Do you feel a sense of dread or exhaustion? These are not just random sensations. They are your body's wisdom speaking to you. When you are in a situation that feels misaligned, your body goes into a state of subtle stress. Your body is telling you, in the only language it knows, that this environment is not nourishing for you. Learning to listen to these physical cues is a powerful act of self-care. Your body is your most honest friend. It will never lie to you. When you feel that knot in your stomach or that wave of exhaustion, don't dismiss it. Get curious about it. Ask yourself, what is my body trying to tell me right now? The loneliness you feel when you're with people you're outgrowing is painful, but it holds a profound invitation to embrace solitude, not as a state of lack, but as a sacred space for reconnection with yourself. It's in the quiet moments of being alone that you can finally hear your own thoughts, get clear on your new values, and tend to the needs of your evolving self. This period of feeling lonely in a crowd is often a transitional phase, the space between letting go of old connections and forming new, more aligned ones. This period of solitude is your chrysalis. It may feel isolating now, but it is the very condition required for your transformation. The more you befriend yourself, the less you will depend on external validation to feel whole. You will build a foundation of self-love and self-reliance so strong that when you do form new connections, they will be an enhancement to your life, not a requirement for your happiness. Remember, the goal is not to be alone forever. The goal is to become so authentically yourself that you attract people who resonate with your true frequency. The loneliness you feel around others is a sign that you are ready for a deeper level of connection, one that starts with yourself. By embracing this period of solitude, you are sending a powerful message to the universe. I am ready to be seen, and in that readiness, you will find your new tribe. As we bring our journey to a close today, I want to leave you with a powerful question to carry in your heart. When you feel the sting of outgrowing someone, when conversations feel draining, when you hide parts of yourself, or when you feel that deep loneliness in their presence, instead of asking, "What is wrong with me?" or "What is wrong with them?" I invite you to gently and lovingly ask yourself this: what part of me is evolving that they don't see yet? This question shifts the entire narrative from one of pain and loss to one of profound and beautiful transformation. It reframes the experience not as a failure of connection, but as a testament to your own becoming. This question opens a space for compassion, both for yourself and for them. It acknowledges that your growth is an ongoing process, a quiet unfolding that may not yet be visible to the outside world. It honors the parts of you that are sprouting new wings, developing new perspectives, and cultivating a deeper sense of purpose. It recognizes that perhaps they can only see the caterpillar you once were, unable to comprehend the butterfly you are destined to become. This is not a fault of theirs, but simply a truth of the journey. Your evolution is your own sacred work, and it is okay if others are not yet able to witness it in its full glory. Hold this question as a meditation. Let it be a source of strength when you feel misunderstood. Let it be a reminder of your courage when you feel the sadness of letting go. Your growth is a gift, even when it comes with the price of goodbye. Every relationship serves a purpose, and some are meant to be bridges that help us cross from one part of our lives to another. Be grateful for the bridge, for the lessons, for the love that was shared, and have the courage to continue walking forward once you've reached the other side. The path ahead is yours to forge, filled with new landscapes and new souls waiting to meet you. So, as you move forward from here, remember this truth. Growth often means goodbye. And that is not only okay, it is necessary. It is the natural, beautiful, and sometimes painful cycle of life. Do not shrink yourself to fit into spaces you have.